Well, well. Bitcoin, huh? Looking at the way the market's been, if you didn't catch that one move on NASDAQ, you would have been stuck in a range all day. It's been really weird. There's been ceasefire talks, and I don't know if you've actually been witnessing it. News anchors have been coming out with the idea that, yep, there's going to be a ceasefire, they're going to stop. Then all of a sudden, we've got another major attack on its way. After that, they're going to be trying to negotiate things to stop the attack. And then now we've got involvement with the US and what have you, if Trump authorizes it. And now we've got an attack as we speak. And then we've got ceasefire talks again. What the? That explains why the NASDAQ has just been sideways. Not Bitcoin, though. Bitcoin has been making a nice move to the upside, which grants the question, is this run up, is it real or is it a trap? Come on, chat. What do you think it is? Do you think this is the run up to the upside? Do you think it's because people are buying the Bitcoin? All right, Bitcoin has been purchased by BlackRock with regards to the ETF, so they picked up quite a bit of Bitcoin, of course. Or is this just a setup? Now, I'm always going to come with the what ifs because that's what trading's all about. Like, do you think that the stock market or the game of speculation is just, well, it's going up? All right, then, let's go. No. You've got to understand, if you go back to all the news events that have happened in terms of economic data that's been released, you tend to see the NASDAQ making moves that are unprecedented. Even on the live squawk, the guy was like, we witnessed a couple of weeks back, not a couple of weeks, it was last week. NASDAQ made a move to the downside, and he was saying, we were just trying to justify why NASDAQ had taken a bit of some downside movement, but we're not seeing any news that's triggered that. That's telling you that this market is getting manipulated so badly, but more so, investors don't have a clue what to do, which is where you're seeing all this wild price action. Now, the thing about cryptocurrency is this. If people want Bitcoin, they're going to go and pick it up, and Bitcoin will reflect that with movement to the upside. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to try and determine if this move is real or not. We do have an interesting day or evening tonight. Bank of Japan are going to be revealing exactly what their plan is. They have been up, well, not so much scrutiny, but investors are there scratching their head thinking, why'd you keep buying up your bonds? What's going on here? And their yields are flying up, which is showing you that investors are like, we don't trust this. We want to demand more of a rate of return if we're going to start buying your bonds, because why on earth are you buying so much of them? What are you trying to give us? Naturally, when a nation or an economy is advertising that they want to encourage investors to invest with them, the only way that that's done is if the yields that are being offered are relatively high. But when you increase your interest rates, that grants foreign investors to say, you know what, I like the idea of that. Let me go and get some yield over there. So I'm going to convert my money into, or dollars into yen, and then go and pick myself up Japanese bonds and then sit on the yield appreciation that has happened if they were to increase their interest rates. We've also got a war, and we've also got the sales coming out tomorrow as well. And then we've got, of course, FOMC. Maybe this move to the upside is the preemptive move that we might not want. I've always said it before FOMC. If everything starts to pump up, it's a bit of an alarming sign. Before FOMC, you want prices down. Now, we hope that this move sustains itself. So that means we're looking for something, and that something is the retrace. It's always about the proof of the move, ladies and gents. And that's what we're going to be breaking down this evening. So if you are new, welcome to the live. Who's in with me tonight? Is everybody all good? How many of you are trading? Tino is getting married. When? Yeah. Interesting comment that was. Come on. How many of you right now are in risk before we get into the charts? Before we even bother getting into the charts, 86 likes. So I'm only speaking to 86 people. That's dead. Come on. Tariffs created more market side fear than the Iran thing. Yeah, well, I'd beg to differ with that. The tariffs have given investors the idea of whether inflation is going to go up or not. But this war is going to seal the idea of inflation going up. That's why they want a ceasefire. Married to the XRP bag. God, I am married to no XRP. That's one thing for sure. I'm going through a divorce with XRP. That's what I'm going through. Oh, I hate that asset so much. Anyways, get with the program, ladies and gentlemen, break it down. So we've seen some nice movement to the upside with Bitcoin. Let's go and have a look at this nut job over here. Here we go. NASDAQ. What an absolute shock of a range of a horrible day. Like, what is that, bro? I mean, let's just look at it. You know what? I challenge you all to go and do this, right? Go and find where you can see assets that behave like the XRP formation. Look at that. Have no idea. One move, finished. That's it. Nothing else. Which does grant the question, what is it being prepared for? The problem that I've got with this move to the upside with the NASDAQ is, of course, this evening we've got the Bank of Japan coming out with whatever it is they're going to reveal, okay? Let me just quickly go back, put that into that. There you go. So Bank of Japan, tonight they're going to be letting us know where we are. What the well, no, it's not going to be that, because if we go on the calendar, there you go. Bank of Japan press conference, and tomorrow, of course, retail sales. Bank of Japan are slow as... They're slow, right? When they say they're going to increase their interest rates, they're going to long it out. They're going to wait. And historically, that's what they do. They are very slow when it comes to economic policies. But when it's time to draw the sword, they will pull and do damage if they want to. They will act in an instance, straight away. No hesitation. Now, the only thing that could grant the idea of the Bank of Japan doing something out of the norm is investors' expectations of where their story is with the yields. If their yields keep on going up, that's naturally going to be forcing investors to demand more for rates of return for buying Japanese debt. Looks like Japanese debt ain't so good if the yield's going up. So what does that mean for you? I'm a Bitcoin trader, Tina. Why do I care about that? Because it's going to determine whether the carry trade's going to be unwind again. And given that the dollar itself, remember, when you unwind from a carry, it means you have to change one currency into the other, which means the original currency that you had borrowed before was yen. You sold that yen, turned it into dollars, and then you used those dollars to go and buy stock. Well, if we just go and have a look at the yen right now, you can see that the yen is trading at a decent range. It's been moving up, okay? I mean, if we just go into the daily time frame, just to put it into perspective, because that looks pretty dead, to be honest with you. But you can see that the yen is moving away. So it's showing us that people are in yen and they're consolidating, trying to transact. But we know for a fact that the dollar dominance is getting smacked. It's close to one of our zones, ladies and gents. 96 on the dollar. That is unbelievable. Well, it's not because it's been there before, but it's not ideal for Donald Trump and the administration screaming about the one great big bill that's going to increase the US deficit and, of course, encourage inflation and, of course, keep interest rates really high and, of course, send gold even further. The importance of the Bank of Japan tonight revealing their path to easing as such or not is going to dictate if we're going to see assets across the board drop. If Bank of Japan were to say they're going to increase their interest rate this year, then the carry trade is going to unwind relatively slowly. If they say they're going to do it sooner, then you're going to see chaos across the board. And then to add insult to injury, if the Federal Reserve does come out on Wednesday and say that they are not going to cut the rates this year, even though investors are betting for that cut to happen in September, but now that we've had enlightenment with regards to what's going on with Israel and the fact that oil's price has shot up, Jerome Powell now needs a little bit more information. He needs to see if that's going to have an impact. So he's waiting for the tariff data. Now he's going to be waiting for whether or not the Israel war or anything else is going to have an impact on inflation. Tomorrow's data about retail sales are going to put things into perspective. Check this out. We go and have a look at it. It's saying that they're expecting a 0.2% increase on retail sales. And of course, minus 0.5% on retail sales month on month. So you've got expansion and you've got contraction at the same time. Maybe we need a little bit more data, according to Mr. Jerome Powell. And if investors get that expectation, well, we know the expectation. They think interest rates are going to stay higher for longer. Now, let's just go into the chart to break it all down. We know that there's a possibility that Bank of Japan tonight more than likely are going to keep their rates as they are. Guys, listen, if you're awake and they do increase their interest rates and declare they are going to do it, okay, you're going to be in for a ride of your life because NASDAQ will just slump to the downside and you're going to hope that Bitcoin sustains itself. But I do believe, quite frankly, that they won't do anything drastic. They're going to give us a timeline on what they're expecting in terms of their interest rate increases. They're talking about next year. So if they're going to do it next year, so we don't really have anything to be worried about too much. But it's all going to be based on what happens with trade. Now, remember, Canada's having a conversation this week regarding the tariffs. So we're going to see a little bit of a trade deal there. Euro is still in the back burner, but Japan is still in the back burner because we don't know where we are with that. And I've told you, Trump's more concerned about Forex intervention by Japan. In other words, when they buy dollars to deflate the price of the dollar against the yen, Trump does not like that. Okay? If anything drastic happens tonight, Bitcoin might be in for a sore ride. But you'd think Bitcoin would go up. Nah, unfortunately, it wouldn't because everyone would be wetting themselves trying to get their money out of the dollar. It will be fear across the board, okay? From an economical point of view in terms of the markets. You got two types of fear. You got the fear that happens when you hear about a war. Where am I going to put my money? And then you've got the other type of fear, whereas, oh my days, my money's locked up in dollars. There's a war right now with Bank of Japan. What are they doing? They're warring out and they're going to increase their interest rates. That means the money I borrowed in yen is going to cost me more money. Damn, I got to get that shit out and get it back into the yen just in case I absorb any fees and costs and however much I'm exposed to it. So those are the two types of fear, all right? Something I made up just to help you understand the point of view. Anyways, let's get back into Bitcoin price action. So Bitcoin has been very kind to us today and has made a nice little move to the upside. A nice strong candle, nice test of the 50. And of course, we can see at the start of the week itself, we've done very well to come back into this weekly candle wick right here. We've gone up, but we haven't gone anywhere, to say the least. Going into the volume, not really seeing that many bids coming in. Neither are we seeing that many offers. So the question grants, is this a valid move up? I mean, I'm not seeing big boy liquidity. Hey, you got 38 million right there at 109. But we haven't seen any bids today, and that's my issue with Bitcoin. Going into smaller time frames, having a look on the 5-minute chart, you can see that we haven't had that much consolidation. They've taken the Asian session range, retraced continuation out to the upside. However, the problem is we're going into big news announcements this evening, so that's going to be a bit of a problem for me. I will always say this to you. Whenever there's going to be a major news announcement, you want prices of assets to drop. You want it to drop because there would be an anticipation that there's going to be something good that's going to be told, and then everyone's going to come in and start buying because they heard good news, and then, of course, everything shoots up, you know? Buy the rumor, sell the news. That's where it's coined from. So buy the rumor, sell the news story is, you heard about that. You heard we're going into that. Okay, cool. So then prices then start to pull back just off that speculation, okay? In that pulling back is the buying of the rumor. Then, of course, the rumor ends up coming true. Sell the news. And then you're selling it. So then prices appreciate to the upside. As we head towards the FOMC, which I will say to you, if you haven't subscribed, you're going to miss out on the biggest live stream. And it's one of the funniest live streams because we like to have a look at what's going on with Powell and his response to certain questions, whether his tie's purple or not, whether he coughs 6 or 7 times, whether he just clearly looks like he can't be bothered to answer any of those questions. And we might have a few surprises in terms of all the people asking questions. So, yeah, make sure you do like and subscribe. Just subscribe. It's free to do, by the way. So, you know, you can take advantage of that. Anyways, going into other aspects of cryptocurrency, check this out. We've got lots of liquidations. People are adamant that Bitcoin is going to come down, come down, come down. How many of you have the belief Bitcoin is going to come down? Well, we've just had short liquidations being taken alive. We've got more liquidations down here for the long side. And there is a concept in the hybrid system that says Monday is the false move week beginning, okay? Now, if you are a day trader, it would serve you all to do the following thing. On my Instagram earlier on, I gave a little bit of a heads up on what you need to be mindful of. And this is it. Take the first high of Asia and take the low. With that being said, what you need to do is leave these two lines on your chart. Now, 107, 257, 66. That's one price point of Bitcoin. If you're a day trader, please, and a position or a weekly trader, whatever it is that you are, mark off these numbers. 107, 257, and 66 Bitcoin. And then the low, 104, 731, and 35. Now we're going to get into a little bit of game. If you go back, and I'll do this every single Monday, just in case there's someone new comes into the live and is like, what the hell is this? Okay. Monday is deemed as the false move week beginning, but Monday dictates pretty much what price action is more than likely to go and do throughout the week. It would be deemed as the real true support and resistance of the week, because you've got to appreciate when the markets reopen, even though cryptocurrency is open 24/7, when they reopen, influx of liquidity comes in and then it sets the range. In the Asian session last night, they had effectively marked prices to the upside. What you're effectively looking for on a day-to-day basis is how price behaves around these 2 points. The consensus says that if it trades away from this point, okay, the idea is that it's going to spend the rest of the week doing the same thing. Now, don't get it twisted. If price like right now is moving away from it, you can't go in blindside and be like, yeah, that's it, man. It's going to keep on going up because Tino says. If you go back in the charts, you'll certainly find that there are a lot of indications and things that you need to pay attention to justify the idea why it could continue to the upside from this point, or make a move to the downside and not look back and continue to drop. It's all going to be set on these 2 price points right here. Okay. Now, of course, as I said, there is more to it. You've got macroeconomic data coming out that could impact it. You've got, of course, Trump. You've got wars. You've got the certain earnings from certain companies that could be coming out. There are many things that could affect it. Don't just look at it as it's just something that's going to happen. Okay. What you got to look out for is how it behaves at these levels. Okay. And with the hybrid system, you'll start to get a good feeling on how likely they're going to be moving away from it based on the way vector candles appear. And if you haven't understood what the hybrid system is, or you don't even know what it is, get to the Traders Reality website, the homepage. It gives you everything. You can download the indicator and all that fun and games. Of course, the website is right here. Oh, there you go. It takes absolutely forever. My computer, I'm going to put it in the bin. But wealth of information in the Discord, of course, but you can download the indicators here with a little guide on how to do that with the videos. But there's a PDF right there that's going to help you understand how to use the hybrid system. And of course, if you want to get setups, trade setups every day, then you can become a member where you get those every single morning before the markets effectively open, mainly the New York session. And then you can enjoy the benefit of understanding my thought process on where I expect assets to go. And that's across 6 asset classes: Euro, NASDAQ, gold, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and we've chucked in oil in there as well. Speaking of which, quickly go over to oil, right? And have a look at where we are, because this is going to dictate what the story is when we go into FOMC. Problem with oil right now is it's moving up because of investors. It's not moving up because of economic expansion. Remember, when China's moving, this is when oil moves. Oil's moving up because of the video we did this morning where we talk about commodities. There's fear across the board, okay? Now, it's saying here that a lot of the story between Israel and Iran and whatnot, they're not going to stop doing their business unless they come to an agreement, okay? So it could mean that we're going into more activity this evening. So that could have an impact on the marketplace later on tonight. Alongside the story with the Bank of Japan, you can appreciate there is a lot of uncertainty in the marketplace, which is why investors are like, where do we go? If they're not going to go over to the bonds market in the US, which you can see bright as day, they're not, okay? Then we've got ourselves a problem. But nonetheless, if the NASDAQ's making this nice move to the upside, has it been done with volume? Let's go and have a look. Here we go. Let's back it up. Is the volume there, ladies and gents? Please say the volume is there. Look on the bottom right. In a second, you'll see it. Oh, my days. That is shocking. Let me just refresh that. Holy, like, seriously, man. Do you see what I'm seeing here? Right, okay then. So let's just do something right now. Again, we do this all the time, ladies and gentlemen. We do this all the time to help you understand the logic of what is happening with volume. Wait there. I can't believe that. I actually cannot believe that is our volume for the day. Shocking. Here we go. All right, look at this. Blue bars above the red line, volume above average. Okay, cool. Pink bars above the red line, volume selling above average. Okay, so blue means positive buying, accumulation. Red means selling, distribution. What is that, man? What on earth is that? That is concerning. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna paint a rosy picture for you all and just be like, yeah, man, it's pumping. I need evidence. I need proof. I ain't getting that proof. Not with NASDAQ. Come on, man. That is absolutely shocking for the NASDAQ. But we are going into FOMC. And we ain't gonna know fully if investors are down with what the FOMC has to say. That right there is a problem. Now, remember what we said earlier on. Good old smart money, dumb money concept. We need to see that move down a little bit more. It's actually, as you can see here, it's getting close to that extreme. I just need this to come down. When they update it later on, we should see it. And if it gets close towards that extreme, then that would then solidify the idea that smart money is selling aggressively, okay, to get out, right? Maybe FOMC is going to be designed to bring everything down. But isn't that all right? How many of you want a discount on Bitcoin? All right, let's be honest. How many of you are happy to buy Bitcoin from these levels? How many of you? And don't give me, it's cheap right now relative to the power of Bitcoin and it's going to go up to the moon and we're going to be all here. Wake the fuck up. Like, let's be honest. Please, don't look at it on what the expected value is going to be or what you think you'd like it to be, or how great your bag's going to look if Bitcoin were to go. It's speculation, man. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. What would it be? We don't know. That's the reality of this game. But let me ask you, how many of you would get money together and buy Bitcoin at this price? Would you be satisfied to buy Bitcoin at 108,555? Come on. I want to know. How many of you would do that? Oh, here we go. Someone's bearish. I want it cheaper. I want 5 digits. No, you're bearish. Look at you all. Bearish, not buying. Bearish, no one. Bearish. So why'd you cuss at me when I say Bitcoin is due to come down? You're bearish. Because you're thinking on the expected future value of what you'd like it to be. Don't get twisted. I know you guys have got bags and you've got Bitcoin and you're trying to, retain the value and not be losing money, but you would like to pick it up for a discount. I know we're all on the same page with that one. Yeah, I thought so. That makes sense. Bitcoin's utility, not from a cryptocurrency perspective. I know it's down for the man with the coin. Decentralization. Yeah. We did it, ladies and gentlemen. We screwed the banks. We got Bitcoin. All right. Governments and corporate America hold 30% of the supply. But we'll go with that, man. We'll go with what's left for us, and we can try and change the world of finance. Because all the fat cats are holding it now. Where are we? Hold on a second. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at what these dudes have been up to today. Have we had any activity on the BlackRock chain? 6 hours ago, BlackRock got a bit busy, picked up 300 Bitcoin, another 171, another 300. You're probably going to see the balance increasing and a lot of activity happening with it, because that could be an indication that there is an expectation that FOMC is going to provide investors a scope of where we're going with the interest rates, maybe just for volatility. Who knows? Okay, that usually always happens when it comes to cryptocurrency and the FOMC. But look, jokes aside, ladies and gentlemen, you've clearly got the story. You get the idea of where I'm going with this. Okay, the way to approach Bitcoin, all right, is not to be thinking about it on what you would like it to be. What you've got to think about is how it's behaving in the environment that we are in. In the environment right now, Bitcoin principally should be behaving like a commodity, because Bitcoin is a commodity. Okay, it's sought after. There is a minimal supply. All right. That's what a commodity in principle is urgency. It's important. We'd like to have it. All right. It's one of one. All right. It's limited edition. It's that and everything else. But we need to come away from the idea of thinking, well, if it's one of one, a limited edition, then surely it's going to go up. And we've been waiting for it to go up for so long when it should have gone up a long time ago. Like I said before, your rainbows and all your blockchains and all your stories that Bitcoin shoulda, woulda, coulda, it hasn't happened. But now it's achieved it only because, of course, Wall Street, you can't do it with no money, can you? Like, all the boys that were smacked in the bull market in 2021, and then that crash from 69 kind of wiped everybody out. So there's that story. Yes, this isn't financial advice. No, this isn't financial advice. It's common fucking sense. Okay? Be realistic with your expectations. You won't be buying Bitcoin at these prices. Okay? And with the way we are, where we are right now, you ain't going to miss no boat, guys. You're not. Because if you look at it from this perspective, I'm going to leave this one with you and then let you guys go. Look at it from this perspective, okay? If you buy Bitcoin at this price point, okay, at 108,000, right? And then Bitcoin goes up to 120,000, okay? Happy days. You've just earned around 12 grand increase in Bitcoin. Wonderful, all right? And then if it goes from 120,000 to 132,000, you've earned yourself a 12 grand increase on Bitcoin, okay? If you've gone from 130,000 and it goes to 142,000, you've earned yourself an increase of 12K on Bitcoin. You get where I'm going with it. Don't be focused on the actual monetary term of Bitcoin, as in what price it is. Focus on how much you can get of it when it's moving. That way you're detached from the idea of why you think Bitcoin should be $1 million. Because when you look at all the price fluctuations, you add it all up. Is the money that you would have made on the differences in price fluctuations being earned? Yeah? Is it going to be the same as a person that waited for it to get towards that price point? Do you see where I'm going with it? It's like having a scalper's mentality as an investor of Bitcoin, all right? Taking the few points. 2 grand move there, take that, bang. 3 grand move there, take that, bang. Doesn't matter what price Bitcoin is if you're just trying to get money from it. It doesn't, does it? Naturally, of course, when it increases in value, like, and you've got yourself lots of Bitcoin and it went from 120,000 to 300,000, fuck yeah, that is a beautiful increase, not a bad return. But when it's not giving you that movement, and okay, it takes a bit of time. I get all of that. That's why we've got to keep our hopes up by looking at price projections in the future of why Bitcoin needs to be that price because so-and-so's buying it. Forget that. Focus on taking increments, hit bases, take something, pull it out, put it back in again. And you'll find that your bag will continuously grow. And then you'll end up with a Bitcoin that's priced at $11,000. And you're looking at your stack saying to yourself, hold on a second, I'm filthy bloody rich. But Bitcoin's now $11,000 from a high of $150,000. What the hell happened there? Of course, from a trader's perspective, you can short it, okay? But even if you were a spot trader and Bitcoin drops, you can do your little DCA and exploit any retraces and make money like that. It doesn't matter what the price of Bitcoin is if you're only focused on the value of your portfolio. I get it that you want to make money with it. But if you allow yourself the freedom to come away from that mentality and focus on the price movements, and then, of course, extract, take profits, put some in, take it back, move it and what have you, it doesn't matter what the price is. It doesn't. Because 50K to 100K is still the same 50K movement when it's from 100K to 150K. Doesn't matter. I hope that makes sense to you all, ladies and gentlemen. Have yourself a wonderful evening. Make sure you like, subscribe, and all that madness, and trade safely in tonight's Asian session. Mad love and respect. Peace.